It's for dinner. Oh, I remember.
Okay, now we're recording.
Oh. Did you notice that? It says that on
there. Yeah, so the car's loud. Even when I'm not even moving or doing anything. Alright, so the reason I'm recording, kind of give a demonstration of how I can grind a gear and forget that I'm driving a stick. I'm used to driving an automatic. I haven't driven a stick in about 10 years. Anyway, bought this Friday. It's a 2013 Fiat 500 Abarth. Pronounce it however you want. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Funny story. Grew up a lot overseas, and I spent some time in Sicily when I was 18. So I had a Fiat 500, like a 1972 probably, when I lived in Sicily. And so I've always kind of thought it would be really cool if the company came out and built another one. You know, so many years now, finally, here I am, 45 years old, 27 years later, and they did it. And so for the last couple of years or so, I've been wanting one, and I held off because I already had a car, a relatively new car, and my daughter just turned 16, it's right here, and she's going to need a car here pretty soon, real soon, because she's going to start college here in the summer. And so this is what I did. So let's actually, I'm going to put it in sport mode. There's two modes. I don't understand why, but here we go. Let's see what this thing will do. Actually, about 68 before I took my foot off the gas. It's a lot of fun, right? How do you feel when I accelerate like that?
It's kind of like a jerking motion, but you're getting better at it.
I'm getting better at it. Yeah. So it's been a long time since I drove a stick. So there's two modes, like I said. There's the normal mode, which is the way the car starts, and then there's the sport mode. And with the sport mode, my understanding is it kind of drops the car just a tad. Tightens up the steering, I can certainly feel that. Gives it a little bit more get up and go. I think there's like a 160 to 170 foot-pound of torque difference from 160 to 170. And you really feel it. The car gets up and goes. And this is no Ferrari or BMW or any big American muscle car, but it sure is fun. And I just don't think with those kind of cars that you can really appreciate and have a good time. The power that those kind of cars or this kind of power provides, because I mean, where are you gonna do 160 miles an hour at, and enjoy it? You have to be on the track or something. Plus it's illegal, obviously, so you get pulled over doing 160 miles an hour in your souped up Ford Mustang. You're gonna go to jail more than likely. Yeah, this car will probably go pretty quick, but I'm not too concerned with getting pulled over by the cops for going 160 miles an hour, because I'm not gonna be doing it anyway. The fun with this vehicle is the 0 to 60, or the curving around the turns, which is ironic. I live in Florida. There aren't any turns to be curving around. I have to wait until I'm getting on an on-ramp or an off-ramp with some kind of a turn in it to really appreciate that. Some of the features I really like, I've talked about the sport mode. I love the leather. I love the fact that the leather is red. I don't know if you can see it from the video, but a combination of red and black leather, that's really cool. You don't typically see that, or I don't typically see that in your standard, your standard sports car doesn't typically have that. I would expect to see these kinds of cool looking features in a Porsche or Ferrari or some other high-end car. Certainly not in a car that cost me $15,000. Now granted, brand new, this car was over 22, but I bought it just under 28,000 miles, 3 years old, and 3 model years old. It's actually not even 3 years old. I guess it sat on the lot until 2014, or towards the end of 2014, before the guy ever bought it. ungodly hot, which also happens in Florida during the summer. I typically ride a Harley, so that's what I drive to work most of the time, especially during the winter. Up until recently, even I'm driving it. And I'll probably continue to drive it come Monday. Come into work, and everybody's going to want to see my new car that I talked about buying, and I'm going to be, well, it's sitting at home in the garage because I am still riding my bike. This is not my primary form of transportation. The car's got a lot of features I would expect to see on most vehicles this day. In this day and age, it's got the Bluetooth for the phone. It's got the cruise control. One thing it doesn't have that's really annoying, but it still allows me to listen to my own music, is it doesn't have USB for the telephone to stream music. That, for me, that's like ungodly frustrating, because I still have to plug it in, and I leave the phone inside the dash. And you know what? Shit. It just occurred to me I completely am going the wrong way. I'm supposed to go pick up my wife at the Ford dealership, and I'm driving to the highway. She's gonna be like, "What the hell are you doing? Where are you?" And I told her, I said, "Oh, you can leave 10 minutes before me, and I'll still get there before you." And yeah, so that's not going to pan out too well. So, you should have said something.
I didn't remember.
Yeah. She's gonna be like, "You're so much more interested in your car than you am in me." And yeah, I guess it's partially true right now. But she'll learn to live with it. All right, so we're gonna turn around here. Actually, I forgot I took it out of sport mode here and accelerating, and it probably would have been more fun if I was in sport mode. It had that little bit more torque. So just the other day, I guess it was the day after I bought the car, there's this turn we have on one of the roads around here, and the way it works is the left lane is the one that is the primary lane. When you take your 90-degree turn to the left, that's the primary lane, and then the right lane right next to it, that's the lane that people typically get in when they want to speed around people, or if they don't think they're going to make the light. It's typically the first. People just want to speed around people. So there's a 7 Series BMW parked in the left side of the turn. It turns green. I kind of speed up around him and just gun it. Of course, he does the same thing. As soon as he realizes I'm going to go fast, he just puts it to the floor and starts taking off. And the funny thing is, we were basically right next to each other. He was pulling away slightly, but he was giving it all he had. I mean, it was pretty obvious to me, and so was I. But I mean, yeah, I was getting beat off the line, but you know what? Barely. He paid $100,000 for his car, more than likely, and I paid $15,000 for my car. And I just wanted so badly to find him at the next light and tell him, "Hey, tell your friends you beat a Fiat 500. This car in front of me's dropping shit off the back of it. You beat a Fiat 500 off the line, and you should feel very, very proud of that, especially considering how much money you paid for your BMW." Anyway, that's pretty funny. But that, again, that's why I enjoy this car so much. I don't have to spend a god-awful amount of money to still have a lot of fun. And I have to make up some serious time here now that my wife is expecting me at the Ford dealership. And she's dropping off her Focus to get maintenance done, like regular maintenance. And she used to own a BMW 1 Series, something I gave her for her our wedding anniversary one year. That was the most fun car I've ever driven in my life. That thing had like 300 horsepower, 300 foot-pound of torque, and it was the same engine that would be in a BMW 3 Series, but it was in a BMW 1 Series, and that thing was like goddamn rocket. I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was so unbelievably awesome. And when we turned it in, it had like 13,000 miles on it, because she doesn't have a long drive to work. She didn't then, because we lived very close to where the dealership was. And she regretted it ever since. Turned the car in. We could have bought it for $28,000, but there was no warranty. We would have had to buy an extended warranty, and we didn't do it, and we've regretted that decision ever since. So she drives a Ford Focus. It was brand new when she bought it, but still, she always thinks about that BMW, and she's just like, why did I not keep the BMW? And I think she probably thinks about shanking me in my sleep every night because of it. Yeah. Anyway, so there's a lot of so again with this car, it's got the power steering and the power windows and power locks and the security system and everything, but it doesn't have the dual climate control. It's just got your regular climate control. It doesn't have the nav system. I just felt like those were completely unnecessary features, and when I saw this car, it was on CarMax, and for the price, I was just like, this is just too good to pass up. And I don't care about those features. I think GPS is kind of a dumb thing to even have in a car anymore, because it's constantly out of date. And every year they want you to cough up more money, and to update the maps, which is, what's the point of that? You're spending an extra $1,000 or something like that when you buy the car, and then you don't even get free updates. That's retarded. I can use my cell phone and I can ask Siri, take me from point A to point B, and she'll do it, and she'll use the most recent information that's available. I'm actually a little reluctant to speed too much on the street. This is a 3-lane highway each side. It's the very first and only ticket I've ever gotten was in my wife's BMW that I talked about a little while ago. It was on this street. I was coming in to work. It's a funny story. He pulled me over and I was doing like, I don't know, 60, something, maybe 62, something like that. This is a 45-mile-an-hour road. And I was doing like 62 only because I had probably been doing about 50, and the light in front of me started to turn yellow, and I wanted to just get up and get through the light, so I hit the gas, and I went right through the light. I look over to my right, and I'm like, damn it, the cop's sitting there. I take my foot off the gas. I never hit the brakes. That's just a dead giveaway that you're speeding. He pulls out. I'm like, great, he's got me. And he pulled me over. And the irony, it's the funny part of the story, was that maybe only 5 minutes earlier I was doing like 85 miles an hour on the same road, and he got me for doing 60. And if he had only known I was going 80 plus miles per hour, probably would have thrown me in jail. Because I'm not an idiot, I wouldn't have run from him, even though that would have been fun. And I shouldn't be saying this stuff. I've got my 16-year-old daughter here, and she's getting ready to drive by herself, and I'm talking about, running from the law and speeding and all this kind of thing. But here's something that I've programmed into her, and let's see if she can repeat it right now.
Everyone's trying to kill you.
Yeah, everyone is doing what?
Trying to kill you.
Everyone's trying to kill you, and that's the number one rule you have to remember when you're driving a car. I've never had an accident. I've been driving for, I don't know, from 16 years old, and I'm 45, and never been involved in an automobile accident. I've owned motorcycles, and the first bike I ever had was a little sport bike, Fiat, Triumph TT600 sport bike, and I dropped that a couple of times just because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and was young and inexperienced, and went from no bikes ever to driving a really, really high-powered.
The yellow one?
Yeah, the yellow one, sport bike. So that was stupid. I dropped it 3 times. The first one was just literally doing a turn, like doing a U-turn, and I dropped it because I squeezed the front brake. The other two, one of them was, I was sitting at a stoplight at night. It's pouring down rain. I'm looking in my rear view mirror, well, not my rear view, my side mirrors to look in the back, and there's some car just coming up and coming up and coming up, and he's not slowing down, and I could tell, I'm like, my God, this guy's gonna run into me, and he's still not slowing down, and then finally he starts slamming on the brakes, and he's sliding, and I see that he's coming like right up next to the side of the car, and I'm like, screw this. I literally jumped off the bike and moved to the right, and of course, he didn't hit the bike, but I could like feel this wind go by. And yeah, so that wasn't my fault. I literally just wanted to save my life. I'm back in sport mode. I don't know if you could tell when